My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Yeah, na sometimes me person me bisa say nti empenyifo bi te say Kwasi Pratt Junior. Nti papa yi say okasa Ghana fo empenyifo etie na. Enne Kwasi Pratt akeka nsem bia in fact me tie nsem ni di nsem o tan keka but enne usa tie ni bia mu a obehu se Ghana fo empenyifo tie papa yi a Ghana ebekoyi amaye. In fact, ene wa nya ebre a kire nyomam afa eye global info analytics for ensem no wa kire die enti a NDC be wini na osan eka ensem bi ase NDC fo ammo mani ammo mo so na omudi agropa yi be wi omo when they were kind of plain or say the MPP for no o my imagine so be wiem na nyoma kwan ne kwan a so o ma mani amma o mo so a ye be fa so awie o mo no me pese ya nkase ye kɔ ne kutie informations no ensem bebre ewum in fact me say enamitie na me wra ho na me bompai se awrade sa wodi tumi ehye John Mahama nsa mano saa ahoɔden no ni akoma pa obitimi ede ahwɛ ama Ghana ayeyi ansa na yebekɔ ne akɔhwɛ video no message so be subscribe to PENDREAM TV na wa like this video like it mama we like e boa e ma video no ekɔ na chi me sraw o like we a share video no efato platform bia so a wo na wo adwenkyere bi so a wo di ato comment section no so ase e di amaye yenkɔ na yenkɔhwɛ video no wo bra na omoye Alhaji and Alhaji or Pan African TV Radio Gold so yenkɔ ne yenkɔhwɛ mra sesia.
We have read the latest results of the survey carried out by Global Info Analytics. And after reading the results, I've also had the opportunity of speaking with the Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. As a matter of fact, I interviewed him yesterday, and that interview is likely to play this evening. Now, if you look at the results which have been released, it suggests that the outcome of the elections would be a tsunami. What is predicted has not happened in the history of elections in Ghana since 1992. There's a landslide victory for former President John Dramani Mahama. Now, there are a few interesting aspects of that report. He's virtually winning in all the regions, with the exception of 2 or so, I think. Okay.
Yes.
He's winning across all the religious divide. He's the preferred candidate of Muslims, preferred candidate of Christians, and so on. Is winning across all the social divisions in the country, and so on. And when I read the report, I was stunned. He has more than a 20% lead over his closest rival, and so on. Now, this is interesting, okay? Very interesting. Now, it's important to understand clearly that in the 2016 elections, the margin between Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and President John Dramani Mahama then was about 1 million votes. 1 million. By 2020, that gap was narrowed to 500,000. Okay? So in the first 4-year period, the NPP and Nana Akufo-Addo's government lost 500,000 votes. It is not surprising that in the next 4 years, they appear to be losing more than 500,000 votes. Something is happening. Now, what is it that is happening? Clearly, the conditions of our people are worsening. Okay. And the New Patriotic Party has not been able to give hope to our people and is losing votes. It's also significant to note that Mr. Alan Shermartin has left the New Patriotic Party. In fact, many of the propagandists of the New Patriotic Parties and so on are emphasizing the unity of the party. Master, now, that man is gone already, he's not coming back. That unity is not there, cannot be there, it's gone. And so when you hear them urging unity, they're actually urging unity for those who have remained. Okay. Now, for those of us who are looking at this results of polling, we must be careful to do proper evaluation. This polling does not take account of rigging. This, if people were to go to the polls and genuinely vote and express themselves, this would be the outcome. If elections are rigged, this would not be the outcome. That's one important factor that everybody must look at. Now, I've been looking at election results from 1992, and there's something striking. If you take all the election results of 1992, for every election, at least you find one constituency, at least one constituency, where the number of votes cast is more than the number of registered voters. Do the exercise and see it for yourself. At least one constituency, at least. That's an indication of rigging. It may not be widespread, it may not be sufficient to nullify the results of an election, but it's an indication of rigging. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So the election results themselves tell us that not everything has been rosy, and that there has been some underhand dealings in the elections. And this calls for some remedial actions. Okay. Now, for those of us who raised this alarm, there are indications that something could happen. I'm not saying that something will happen, I'm saying that something could happen. When the governing party starts appointing its card-bearing propagandists onto the National Electoral Commission, we have to be cautious. We have to ring the alarm bells. Now, I am really surprised at the sloppiness of the National Democratic Congress in dealing with this matter. Can you imagine if in 2016, President Mahama had appointed Dr. Toniedu as a member of the National Electoral Commission? What would have happened? NDC in this instance wrote some lame, useless letter to the Council of State and went to bed. There were MPP primaries in Yendi. An official of the Electoral Commission boldly and proudly declared his membership or sympathy of the New Patriotic Party. What has happened? Nothing. So these NDC people who are sitting in their houses and saying, making all kinds of claims, they are funny. They are exceedingly funny. They don't know what time it is, as some people say. You understand? Okay. Now that is one. Two, these are the results that the polls show. And I believe honestly that those who conducted the polls are credible. Global Info Analytics has established its credibility over the last 5 years. One, if you look at the survey they conducted on the 2020 elections, not even the 2016 elections, that's when they started. They were on point. They conducted a survey on the Asin North election. They were on point. They conducted a survey on the MPP primaries. They had it right. So if you look at all the surveys they've conducted, you have to take their results seriously. Now understand that the MPP campaign has raised issues with the current poll results. And then I ask a question. Between the MPP campaign, or the Bawumia campaign, and Global Info Analytics, who should we trust? If you take the MPP primaries, the Bawumia campaign actually predicted 70% victory for Bawumia. It didn't happen. Okay? Some of you went as far as predicting 80% and so on. It didn't happen. If you take the Asin North elections, the MPP prediction didn't happen. You understand? Even if you take the 2016 elections, the MPP prediction, you understand what I mean? So between the Bawumia campaign and Global Info Analytics, I would find Global Info Analytics more credible. But you see, again, we are in April. The elections will be on December 4th. December 7th. We are in April. Between now and December 7th, many things can happen. I'll tell you a story. There was a parliamentary candidate in some country, European country and so on, that nobody took serious. Everybody knew that this candidate was not going to do well in the elections at all. A few weeks to the elections, some unknown, unidentified persons assaulted this candidate. The public sympathy that this assault generated gave him victory. So the things that decide victory can happen on the spur of the moment. One reckless statement from a leader of the NDC is going down straight into the gutters. One reckless statement can destroy the NDC. One, not two, one reckless statement. Okay? So it's important, especially for those around their candidates, if they don't have sensible things to say, to shut up. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If they don't have sensible things to say, they should shut up. Because the real danger facing the NDC today is that many of its members, especially in leadership positions, are beginning to believe that the elections have been won already. And that all that is left is how to share the spoils. Those people are a danger to the party. Okay? Now the NDC is putting up a candidate. NPP is putting up a candidate. Other parties are putting up candidates. Yes, sometimes we are tempted to say that party A or party B will win the election or has won the election and so on. But who has to win the election? It is not Mahama. It is not Bawumia. It is the people of Ghana who have to win the election. Because the election is about the welfare of the people of Ghana. The election is about whether the people of Ghana can afford gobe or kenke and fish. The election is about access to education and quality education for all Ghanaians, not only members of the NDC. The election is about the availability of potable water to everybody in this country. So this nonsense of MPP extending the 8 and NDC winning and stupid partisanship and so on does not impress me. Bottom line, what is this election going to lead to? Improving the welfare of our people? Providing a better life for our people or not? That is the issue. And that is why sometimes it is important to interrogate manifestos. Even though since 1992 manifestos have been completely useless in this country, and I can discuss that. No party has implemented everything they have said in their manifesto. No party. That's a fact. So now manifestos mean very little to us, the electorate, the manifestos. Who is going to implement any manifesto? I've been watching this period very closely. I've been hearing all the promises which are being made from left, right, center. Of course, the most ridiculous is the guy who intends to take the sea from Kolegono to Kumasi. But there are equally ridiculous claims and promises. You understand? So, as a manifesto, they shouldn't waste our time. And in all the promises, manifesto promises which are being made, if you examine them carefully, and you are sober, reflective, and informed, you have problems with all the manifesto promises which are being made. Why do I say this? This is a bankrupt country. Bankrupt. Whoever is elected on January 7th will be struggling to find money to buy ice water to put in the fridge of the president. That's how bad the situation is. We are spending way above national revenue. Bankrupt country. So no matter what promises are being made by MPP, NDC and so on, let's be realistic. It is possible, it ain't going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It is just possible, it ain't going to happen. Now, the polls indicate that John Mahama may become president on January 7th. All things being equal, he will become president on January 7th. 2025. Master, I pity him. Truly pity him. I pity John Mahama. Because if care is not taken, after winning the elections, between 3 and 6 months, the people of Ghana will be on the streets with cutlasses chasing him. How is he going to deliver? Unless you don't know what is happening in this country, unless you don't know the state of the country, how is he going to deliver? Is he going to run to the IMF and the World Bank again? Now, I read his statement on LGBTQ and so on. I read the statement. The US, even the IMF and so on, are saying that if you take that position, we will squeeze you to death. So clearly that is not an option. if he's going to maintain his stand on LGBTQ, he starts off with a massive squeeze from the Western countries, the IMF, and others. How is he going to overcome that problem to start with? That problem alone, how is he going to solve it? So, winning elections will not be like lying on a bed of roses, to use the old cliche. There is work to be done, very, very serious work to be done. Even for those who win the election, they have to sweat, they have to cry, they have to feel pains. Now, for those who have already started counting their chicken before the eggs have been hatched, Masa, it's not going to be easy. Oh. They don't know. They think it's children playing. It's not going to be easy. Senna. There are a few things too that I want to talk about, You know, handlers of candidates can have the best of intentions. The handlers of candidates. They can have the best of intentions but end up messing the candidates big time. Because the handlers of the candidates, they have their own aspirations. Aspirations, ambitions, outlook, and so on. Sometimes, and indeed most times, if they inflict these aspirations, ambitions, and so on the candidate, they destroy the candidate. A good candidate can be destroyed very easily. In our circumstances, the NDC has a woman presidential candidate. And me, I wish her all the best. I wish her all the best because I've known her over the years and I think she's an excellent woman. And I keep saying, the first time she struck me as somebody who was extraordinary was when she gave the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Lectures at the University of Cape Coast. I can never take that out of my head. I think she's a decent woman, and I wouldn't mind if she became the vice president of this republic. Okay? But her handlers should be very careful not to clothe her in their own stupid, petty bourgeois idiosyncrasies. If I were managing her, my main assignment would be to make her look sound and everything like an ordinary Ghanaian woman. So, hiring makeup people and so on to go and paint her face and so on should be out of the equation completely. You understand? Why she's going out, how she's dressed. She must look like a working class woman. Working class woman, put jeans on her, put canvas on her, put some t-shirt on her, and so on. Let her look like a working class woman. It brings votes. Already she has a handicap. What many people think is her strength can also become her handicap. She's a professor, for God's sake. The general attitude towards academics beyond a certain level, everybody knows. I'm not going to repeat it. Bring her down to the level of people like me. You understand? Or below. Is that below? I think I'm at the bottom. You understand? So, I'm an outsider. But even outsiders can peep into the inside. And what they see can sometimes be revealing. I don't want to talk too much on this particular issue. It has often been said that a word to the wise is enough Okay? And I think I've said more than one word. So it's more than enough. I'm not going to repeat anything. But you see, this election is also taking on the tone of a competition of religions, of tribes, of regions, and so on. And I sit back and I say, is this Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana? What the hell happened to us? Why? This is a country in which a poor boy from Nkrofo, a small village in the western region then, didn't have rich parents. The mother didn't go to Harvard. The father didn't go to Oxford, and so on. Came all the way from Nkrofo, contested elections in Accra, and beat an indigent, Obeche Bilante, to Ras. He beat him to Ras. What happened to us? That all of a sudden, the region where you come from is important, the language you speak is important, your religion is important, and so on. What happened to us? You see, the backward people in our society, very backward forces in our society, have gained the upper hand in the political discourse. And it will have consequences for us now, tomorrow, and in the future. Why? Inflation, yesterday I saw some publication which indicated that inflation was above 25%. Now, if you choose a Notna for president, how does that bring inflation down? This country is bankrupt. You choose somebody from Sogakope, how does that change that situation? You choose somebody from Gomoa de Rampong, how does that change that situation? How does that change that situation? Me, to be honest with you, I don't think that corruption is the bane of our development. I don't think that corruption is a Ghanaian category. I don't think that corruption is an African category. Corruption is universal, everywhere in the world. So if in spite of the fact that corruption is universal, some people are making progress and we are not making progress, it means that we have to look for additional causes. Okay? Additional causes. I don't think that our economy is in this state simply because our leaders have stolen money. Yes, they may steal money, they may have stolen money and so on. But that's not the reason. If you are the 5th largest producer of gold in the world, not in Africa, in the world, and Ghanaian interest in gold production is zero. Your people can be angels from heaven. Your economy will not grow. It will not improve. So let us begin to think and stop using these shortcuts. They are useless. Now every politician is talking about corruption. One, because they don't know the true causes of our underdevelopment. They have no idea what is responsible for our underdevelopment. So corruption is easy. Everybody, corruption. Nobody is talking about the fact that we have 0% interest in gold extraction in our country. That is more difficult to do. To discuss gold production is more difficult to do. You need extra intellectual acumen. You need to be able to analyze data and so on. The politicians are lazy and sometimes stupid. So they don't discuss those difficult issues. We have signed an economic partnership agreement with the European Union. What is its consequences on our economy? Is it corruption which made us sign the economic partnership agreement to the European Union? No! But these politicians, nitwit some of them, they can't discuss the economic partnership agreement. So the easier one, corruption. After corruption, everybody can talk some. Especially when you don't have to provide any evidence. So everybody, corruption, corruption, corruption. Let's look at the fundamental causes of our underdevelopment. And let's begin to discuss those issues. Massa, I'm even coughing. Let us begin to discuss the fundamental causes of our underdevelopment. Because if we continue this useless corruption mantra, it's not taking us anywhere. There are major fundamental problems with our economy. And one of those that I like to discuss a lot, that's simple. It's not even complicated. Master, you see, all the resources we have, they are non-renewable resources. Take note of that. When you dig gold from the soil, you cannot plant gold for it to germinate and create more gold. When you take out the diamond, it's gone forever. When you take out the gas, it's gone forever. When you take out the oil, it's gone forever. Tell me one resource which is renewable. Now today, when we have all of these resources embedded in our soil, look at our state. So sit down and imagine 50 years from now, when we have taken all the resources and deposited them in other people's countries. What will happen to us? This is the critical question our politicians must be asking. And they must be providing answers. Not that I'm a Muslim or I'll unite Muslims and Christians and so on. That is, excuse my language. Please excuse my language. That is foolish talk. On the street, the language is different, but I can't use that here. On the street, if you talk like that, there's a way of describing it, but unfortunately I'm sitting on television. And I can't use that language. I would have loved to use that language. Eh? Oh, he is Bush. I'm much smaller. If I use that language, I don't know what will happen to me from tomorrow. So let me just simply say foolish talk. Extremely foolish talk. You see? Massa, my friends in the NDC, be careful. Don't start counting your chicken before the eggs are hatched. Be careful. One of the things that people have accused the sitting government of is immodesty. One of the reasons why people are so angry with the Akufo-Addo government is simply immodesty. When Okujato Ablakwa makes it his duty to show any time the president travels on a rented jet, he's harping on that thing of immodesty. You understand? And it has made an impact. When the president travels and goes to a radio station in Kumasi to go and grant an interview, and people count 70-something four-wheel drives, it's harping on immodesty and so on. But you see, if people in the villages see the NDC campaign team passing, and they are in a convoy of 40 vehicles, do you know what they say? That even in opposition, look at them. What do they do when they come into government? Even in opposition, look at them. So modesty must be a cardinal point. And when you raise this issue, I get all kinds of responses. One of the responses is that, former ministers and other officials, they like to join with their own cars because they want to be seen with the president. How about that? Maza, why should you be following the presidential candidate? Your duty is to go to your own constituency and win that constituency and let the president win what he can win. So that if you aggregate all that everybody can win, it will lead you to victory. But this, my friends, they don't understand. If you tell them, they won't listen. So everybody is following President Mahama. One time, I was going home. Dominic Kwabenya here, I don't know where they were coming from. The first few cars passed, and then I saw, hey, so I started counting. Counted 26 vehicles. Why? Why? Is the competition now about immodesty? Who is more immodest?
Enti Kwasi Pratt Junior na numu asam ene yakofa ede abramu yi abusuafo de bia ye ka ye say look said ye ene wiase akoye ne Ghana akoye no, we need people, in fact leaders who are selfless, leaders who are visionary, leaders who can think beyond in fact who can think outside the box. Baby a Ghana adru no he ye kase ye ne abrofo no ebe kɔ no said ye kɔ no de bia enye yie, because you see a Ghana ya hwe ase ye dafom keja che say ye ni bibia ye bi mu. And the only thing and the only way a Ghana betimi survive and say ye mpanyifo a ye benya won no ombetimi di omon nan asi fom na oma take some pragmatic decisions be ebetumi asesa the fortunes of this country and no pe na akai. Because look, baby a yadru no, we have to forget about everybody and try say we will do our own things in this country. Lead an oba, let the people know what you want to achieve. Explain to Ghanaians. So look, baby a yadru no, ye koye nima ya pem, ye be ye chi ya pem, baby a be fa bia ya pem. The only way we can make things happen for us all, or for our good and for the future, and it's a Ghana for mo be boa me ama adwuma me pese me yema mo no, it to me a succeed. Enti from now on, this is the friend saying area me ba befa project we na me ba be. These are the decisions I'm going to take. Na muhu se me take decision where ye di entra eye say ye besa revive ye ho entra ewo se ye san kɔ ye chi na ye nya ahoɔden edi face wiase economy no. Enti se agrika si ye wura agrik mu a ene mo ne ye do bayire ne ye do den government mfa no ho nhyem. Say ye production a government making sure say ene ye be go into full production. Yankasi ye be ye nyoma o Ghana, whatever it is, o man penyin wo so de ne nansuo na o making sure say Ghana ha afedie yankasa ye be di, we will eat what we grow here in Ghana. I think say when we are able to do this, Ghana besa fanentoma pa Africa. In fact, ye pe decisions are ebe sesa o mine like ebe dani o mine ni ama we are seeing no, there is something good happening in Ghana. Me, I know that when we get a leader, why not being so big leader, why not being say to hell with ubia, I want the good of this country. Now or yet not being so big I'm telling you, Ghana will rise again. Look, I think any yen to me leader bia obey to me and say, look, spending, say the executive sika almost spending, you bet me a training in you bet me trasa your money in say sika budget I had to home the executive say almost spending cars fuel free ni ho ade na omudi omo say sika no che say because say nipa no onto ontua onye ne enti eno aso was spend it na say yenya leader bi no say no ebia maye ne say every leader so we MP so we a minister we whoever who access to a saloon car no V8 again who access to a saloon car. That is the car that you are going to use for your duties. Car ebesi wo no mo ebia for the office enya wonko na obe use. What you see? Like there are several things that omampenyi betumi take here. A better cost of spending so ama yetumi inject sales can dey share production. What you see? Now you making sure say corruption you be killing once and for all. Ebe boa ama Ghana etumi akri sika etumi assign a revamp aye nyoma ebetumi ama krono me sika ye sika no betumi fight the dollar ne ho keka ho. Abusiafo babia ya dru no eye chese aka eto ne bro. And I know that it is only President Mahama who can do this thing for Ghanaians. Inimsa wo bana wo bano. Enye sabio uboto munti. Na mmom se wobehwe ama oman no afa ne ntoma pafrenti na wo ba. Enti ade biara ewo sa wo ye ema oman ne fa ne ntoma pafra. Se obi wo mi aban mu na nipa no obokro no wa ye bi da. Nipa no bokro no a prosecute nipa no ema yan jeli nipa no chese obi ya boni omu a twena so ma oman no hu se ba bi enam no enye afadi agro krofo abewia ye sika de akọ ye hia omanpenyina obeba be confiscate omonyoma nyina a jeli sa krofo ni nyina rote wo system nim judiciary omawia omo ha be hyemu omo no ye somebody's bidding. We have to fish them out, sack them. Like Charlie. Sa me meti hey na nyame ye madom na me and my be president of Ghana. Decisions are made taking no. Yes. The pabone for ne de one me nya adwene. But Ghana for omo ye well-meaning Ghanaians. Omo ne me be ya adwene. And they will know say I am fighting for their cause. And no na me stress nyame ma eyo mampenyini Mahama sa adwen no. No nya mpanyifo a o metumi aboa no ama sa adwen no watumi ateki anase atumi succeed ama no. Cause mostly se uyo mampenyini na sa oba na ukuta adwen pampu na nkrofo e ben o handless krofo a woni omuye wa pamfo a woni omuye adwuma. So ma anya o ma adwen so mbeboa wa ubepira ebe how o metete. Enti this is what I am expecting from the NDC leadership. Mumwa omanpenyini Mahama na ontumi enfa like ontumi nye biribi ma biribi mbe ye biribi. Aha eye PENDREAM TV. Make sure also subscribe to the channel no like video no na we are adwenche bia we to comment section no ase e de amayen. PENDREAM TV ese edamu yopo.
Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.